The windshield wipers barely kept up with the downpour as I navigated through the exclusive Oakwood Hills neighborhood. My daughter Emma's voice still echoed in my head from the payphone call. Mom, she just pushed me out. My clothes are soaked, and I don't know where to go. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, forcing myself to maintain composure. There, under the dim glow of a street lamp, stood my daughter. Her long dark hair was plastered to her face, her school uniform completely drenched. The sight of her small figure huddled against the rain made my blood boil. Emma, I pulled over, jumping out with an umbrella. She ran into my arms, shivering. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just accidentally spilled water on her new white couch, and she completely lost it. Shh, baby. Get in the car. I wrapped my cashmere scarf around her shoulders. The same scarf I'd worn earlier that day while finalizing the paperwork to acquire Lux Retail Group, where Patricia had just been celebrating her promotion to Senior Vice President of Operations. Once Emma was settled in the passenger seat with the heat blasting, I pulled out my phone and dialed Patricia's number. What? Her voice dripped with disdain. If this is about your daughter's attitude problem, this is about you throwing a minor out into a storm, I cut in, keeping my voice level. Do you realize that's technically child endangerment? Patricia laughed. Please, she's 16, not 6. Besides, this is a safe neighborhood. Nothing like that dumpy suburb where you live. I glanced at my modest townhouse's address on the caller ID and smiled. Patricia had no idea I owned half the properties in her precious gated community through one of my holding companies. I want her things, I said firmly. Her phone, her school bag, everything she left at your house. Fine. Send David to get them tomorrow. I'm busy tonight. Some of us have important careers to manage. I could hear ice cubes clinking in what was probably her nightly martini. Yes, I heard about your promotion at Lux. Congratulations. Finally, someone's recognizing my talents, she preened. I'm implementing a complete restructuring next quarter. The old guard won't know what hit them. If only she knew about the restructuring plans already sitting on my desk, waiting for my signature. I'll have David pick up Emma's things tomorrow, I said. But Patricia, remember this moment. Is that a threat? She snorted. From a part-time yoga instructor, sweetheart, I eat people like you for breakfast. I ended the call and turned to Emma, who had stopped shivering but still looked miserable. Mom, I really didn't mean to ruin her couch. I was just trying to water her stupid expensive orchid like she asked. The orchid she probably bought from Azure Gardens? I asked, referring to the high-end florist chain I'd acquired last year. The one she brags about every chance she gets? Emma nodded. She says you could never afford their flowers. Did you know, I said casually, pulling away from the curb, that when someone shows you who they are, you should believe them. Maya Angelou, Emma said, managing a small smile. My bookworm daughter, so different from Patricia's materialistic worldview. Your father's ex-wife just showed us exactly who she is, someone who would put her furniture above a child's safety. I paused at a stoplight. But you know what the beautiful thing about life is? What? Karma doesn't need our help. It just needs our patience. Emma pulled my scarf tighter around her shoulders. Dad's going to be mad when he finds out what she did. Oh yes, I agreed. But not as mad as Patricia will be next week. Why? What's happening next week? I thought about the board meeting scheduled for Monday, where the new ownership of Lux Retail Group would be announced, the comprehensive audit I'd ordered of all senior management, and the interesting discrepancies in Patricia's expense reports that had already been flagged. Let's just say some people's umbrellas aren't as sturdy as they think, I said cryptically. How about we stop for hot chocolate? Emma's face lit up. At Sullivan's? I nodded, turning toward the small cafe I bought 5 years ago when the original owner retired. I kept his name, his recipes, and his values, just added better healthcare for the employees and a college fund for their kids. Mom, Emma said quietly as we parked. I know you could afford a bigger house or a fancier car. Why do we live so normally? I turned to look at my daughter, seeing the wisdom in her eyes that Patricia had always missed. Because true power isn't in showing what you have. It's in knowing who you are without it. Is that why you never told Dad about your business? I told him once in the beginning, I admitted. He said he couldn't handle being with someone more successful than him. So I kept quiet, hoping he'd love me for me. When he left for Patricia, he showed you who he was, Emma finished. Exactly. Now, let's get that hot chocolate. And maybe we'll add some of Sullivan's famous homemade marshmallows. The ones Patricia says are beneath her social status. Emma grinned. The very same ones I had Sullivan patent last year, I winked. Come on, baby, let's get you warmed up. As we walked into the cafe, my phone buzzed with an email from my CFO. Final audit results on PR's expenses. Multiple violations found. Proceeding as discussed. I typed back a single word. Yes. Sometimes the best lesson in life is learning that karma doesn't just knock, it pours. Monday morning arrived with the same stormy weather that had drenched Emma 3 days ago. I sat in my private office on the top floor of the Lux Retail Group headquarters, watching rain streak down the floor-to-ceiling windows. The board members would be arriving soon, none of them knowing that the mysterious CEO they were meeting was the same woman Patricia had dismissed as just a yoga instructor. My intercom buzzed. Mrs. Kennedy, Mr. Thompson, and the other board members are assembled in the conference room. And Mrs. Patricia Reynolds has arrived early for her presentation. Perfect timing, I smiled. Please show her in first. Patricia strutted through my office door in designer heels, clutching a leather portfolio. She stopped dead when she saw me sitting behind the massive desk. What are you doing here? She demanded. This is a restricted floor. Good morning, Patricia, I said calmly. Please have a seat. We need to discuss your expense reports. My? What? Who do you think you are? Sarah Kennedy, I stood extending my hand. CEO and majority shareholder of Lux Retail Group. But you can just call me Emma's mom. The portfolio slipped from her manicured fingers, scattering papers across my imported marble floor. This is impossible. The CEO is meeting you right now, I finished. Those expense reports you've been submitting, the ones charging personal shopping sprees as client meetings, the spa retreats listed as team building. Very creative. Patricia's face went from shock to calculating in seconds. David will never believe this. You're trying to sabotage my career because you're jealous. David already knows. I pressed a button on my desk phone. Send him in, please. My ex-husband walked in, his face ashen. Patricia, why didn't you tell me about the fraudulent expenses? Darling, this is ridiculous. Patricia laughed nervously. She's obviously manipulating. The audit team found everything. David cut her off. Over $200,000 in personal expenses charged to the company. The board is reviewing it all right now. Patricia sank into a chair, her perfect posture crumbling. I can explain. I was going to pay it back. Like you were going to apologize for leaving my daughter in the rain? I asked quietly. Some things can't be paid back, Patricia. Some actions reveal our true character. Please, she whispered. This job is everything to me, my status, my lifestyle. Like Emma's safety was everything to me. I pulled up security footage on my computer screen. Here's a video from Thursday night. Shall we watch you physically pushing my daughter out your door? The police found it very interesting. You went to the police. Child endangerment is a serious offense, David said, his voice hard. The officers were especially concerned about the pattern of emotional abuse they uncovered. Patricia turned to me, tears threatening her perfect makeup. What do you want? Money? A public apology. I want you to understand something. I leaned forward. Every luxury store where you shop, I own it. That country club membership you flaunt, I'm on the board. The social circles you climb, I control them. But unlike you, I never needed to prove my worth by making others feel worthless. The board meeting starts in 5 minutes. David checked his watch. They're waiting for your presentation on the restructuring plan, which has been slightly modified, I added. Would you like to know your new position? Patricia's hands trembled. New position. You have 2 options. I slid a document across the desk. Resignation with full admission of financial misconduct or transfer to our new store in Queens as an assistant manager with mandatory ethics training. Assistant manager, she choked. That's beneath me. Like my daughter was beneath your precious furniture. I raised an eyebrow. Choose quickly, Patricia. The board doesn't like to be kept waiting. She stared at the paper, mascara starting to run. David, please. You threw my daughter out in a storm, he said quietly. Then lied to me about it. Sign the papers. Patricia. With shaking fingers, she signed the transfer agreement. As she did, my phone buzzed with a text from Emma. Mom, is it done? I typed back, justice doesn't always come in storms. Sometimes it comes in signatures. The HR team will help you clear out your office. I stood. Oh, and Patricia. That white couch Emma supposedly ruined? I had it tested. The watermark disappeared completely once it dried. You threw my child out for nothing. She stumbled to her feet, clutching her signed papers. You've been planning this all along, haven't you? All these years pretending to be nothing. No, Patricia. You did this to yourself. I just provided the karma. After she left, David stayed behind. Sarah, I never knew about any of it. Your success, your power. You never asked, I said simply. You saw what you wanted to see, just like Patricia. Can we talk? About everything. I gathered my files for the board meeting. Sure. Over coffee at Sullivan's. I hear they make great marshmallows. He managed a weak smile, finally understanding the joke. You own that too, don't you? I am a lot of things, David, but more importantly, I know what really matters. I headed for the conference room door. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a company to run. As I walked into the board meeting, my phone buzzed one last time. Emma had sent a photo of herself, smiling in front of Sullivan's with a hot chocolate topped with homemade marshmallows. The caption read, Karma tastes sweet, doesn't it, Mom? Yes, baby girl. Yes, it does. 3 months later, I stood at the entrance of the Queens branch of Lux Retail, watching through the window as Patricia straightened a display of handbags. Her designer clothes had been replaced by the standard store uniform, her perfectly manicured nails now practical and short. How's she doing? Emma asked, sipping her hot chocolate beside me. Her manager says she's actually improving, I replied. She hasn't made a single customer cry this week. Emma laughed. That's progress. Remember when she used to make the housekeepers cry at her dinner parties? The bell chimed as we entered the store. Patricia looked up, then quickly looked down, her face flushing. The mandatory ethics training had included extensive sections on workplace bullying and emotional abuse, with case studies that hit suspiciously close to home. Good morning, Patricia, I said pleasantly. The display looks nice. Thank you, Mrs. Kennedy, she mumbled, using my proper title as required by company policy. Emma wandered over to look at the handbags, and I saw Patricia flinch, probably remembering the last time my daughter had been near her precious possessions. Your 90-day review is coming up, I said casually. Your manager speaks highly of your progress. Hope flickered across her face. Does that mean you can apply for a senior sales position? I nodded. Still in Queens, of course, but with slightly better hours. I thank you, she said, and for the first time, I heard genuine gratitude instead of manipulation in her voice. You know, I leaned against the counter. Success isn't about the position you hold or the zip code you live in. It's about how you treat people on your way up or down. Patricia glanced at Emma, who was carefully handling a designer clutch with obvious respect for the merchandise. I've been seeing a therapist, she said quietly. She says I have issues with measuring my worth through status and possessions. And she's right. Patricia straightened her name badge. I've been wrong about a lot of things, including how I treated Emma. As if on cue, Emma walked over with the clutch. This craftsmanship is amazing, she said, professionally examining the stitching. Is it from the new artisan collection? Patricia blinked in surprise at my daughter's knowledge. Yes, actually. Each one is handmade by local craftspeople. We're trying to support small businesses and traditional skills. Mom's idea, Emma smiled. Just like the Sustainable Materials Program and the Worker Education Fund. I watched as Patricia processed this information, realizing how much she'd misunderstood about both business and success. Your father misses you, she said suddenly to Emma. He's different now. More like the man I first met, before I pushed him to chase status and promotions. I know, Emma replied. We had dinner last week, at Sullivan's. Patricia managed a small smile. Those marshmallows really are good, aren't they? Even if they're not imported from Switzerland. Would you like to join us for coffee sometime? I found myself asking, surprising all of us. Not as family, but as people learning to be better. Patricia's eyes welled up. I'd like that, she whispered. I'd like that very much. As we left the store, Emma linked her arm through mine. That was kind of you, Mom. Offering coffee. Sometimes people deserve a chance to change, I said. As long as they're willing to do the work. Like making them work in Queens, Emma grinned. Like making them face the consequences of their actions, I corrected, and learn from them. My phone buzzed with a message from David. Patricia apologized to me today. Really apologized for everything. Said working in the store has taught her more about life than all her years in the executive suite. What did you do? I typed back. I didn't do anything. Life did. Sometimes the best lessons come from the bottom shelf, not the penthouse view. Emma peered at my phone. Are you and Dad? No, baby, I squeezed her hand. Some things can't go back to what they were, but maybe they can become something new, something better. Like Patricia. Like all of us, I said, watching the sun break through the clouds. Learning, growing, and realizing that true power isn't in controlling others, it's in helping them find their way back to themselves. We walked to Sullivan's, where the marshmallows were always homemade, the coffee was always perfect, and the lessons were always served with a side of sweet justice.